And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Chat with Gunner. 95, right? 95 of these bad boys that we have done now. It's crazy that we are 94 removed from the first time that we sat foot in this studio talking about doing a new show.
Yeah.
Right? Crazy.
Talking about an Adderall.
Talking about an Adderall addiction.
An addiction.
That we haven't had since.
Hey.
Or 2 years prior to that, right?
Yeah.
Right, I think that was what it was, 2 years, or at least a year.
You're so far removed from it that it doesn't affect me. Yeah.
Doesn't even affect me.
That's
you're wondering what this get up is and why.
Good Lord.
So this is a State and Liberty. All right, that's the brand.
I like that. I like the name of that brand.
Sure,
sounds patriotic.
Absolutely, I'm patriotic. So a State and Liberty blazer. So I've been wearing. Listen, okay. It's hard to describe things without really going into detail of why. I'm a guy that really enjoys wearing athletic shorts, sweatpants, anything comfortable, t-shirt, tank top, really athletic shorts and a hoodie. That's my go-to. I was getting to a point in business to where I felt like to take the next step, I really needed to just be a little bit more professional.
Got to button up a little bit.
Well, I was like, how can I ease my way into it without freaking everybody out? So I started out with just, maybe jeans and a polo. And then slowly it transformed into slacks and a polo. And then slacks and a dress shirt. And then I realized, man, that shit is not comfortable. Right? It's just...
Let me tell you. I'm wearing a sweater and a button up, and no, I'm not comfortable today.
It's just not. It's very stiff. The generic type stuff. Even your high end luxury brands, if it's just like regular material, it's just stiff. It's a little stiff.
Yeah, you're not supposed to wear it every day necessarily.
Yeah, but in order to look right, that's what they say you're supposed to do, right? Mm-hmm. You're supposed to wear that because it comes off because it looks professional.
Yep.
All right, cool. So. Like me, how I always am, I'm always trying to research another way to do something. Well, I started wearing those buttercloth shirts.
Yes.
Remember those? So I was like, well, there's got to be more material out there. Somebody has got to put that material in more clothes than just a shirt.
Yeah.
Well, I found it. So all these companies, for the most part, are all e-commerce. They're all online. And I found this company called State and Liberty. And they made the pants like Buttercloth makes the shirts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all for athletic fit people. And I was like, why this need for that? Well, these guys were hockey players. They're having to travel to all these places. Yep. And they didn't like the way that suits fit athletes. So they decided to make their own out of a stretchy material to be comfortable that keeps you cool when it's warm and warm when it's cold. So I bought the pants a while ago, and I'd been wearing State and Liberty. So I got the gray pair. I got a couple pairs. I got a navy, and then like a kind of a patterned navy. And, I got the buttercloth shirts. So that was what I was wearing for the most part. Then it started getting cold. All right. So I had my Patagonia, sweaters and stuff, but it was just kind of clashing a little bit with my pants, looking like. I was like professional, but also from Colorado, and I'm in Tennessee. So, just kind of bigger on me or whatever, and just kind of too warm on the inside, but, just warm enough on the outside. So I was like, I need that in between. Well, I didn't know State and Liberty had a storefront. So I was in Nashville with Tia this past weekend. I went up there to see her with Marcus. And we went to the little downtown area, like Broadway area, Nashville. And guess who has a storefront in Nashville?
Oh.
State and Liberty. Because they pretty much have a storefront in every hockey town.
That makes sense.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So I walk in there. It's a very small store. I'd imagine it being like a J. Crew in the 90s. Like just getting started, right? But good materials. And the reason I hadn't bought a jacket is because I didn't know my size. I wanted to try on the sizes. Walked in, they got the jackets, tried on some sizes. This thing is not tailored, and it fits literally perfect. And guess what? Stretchy.
God.
stretchy.
That just looks wrong.
Name another jacket that you can do that in. All right. So
God.
So I have added the jacket. So people say, where are you going? You got a job interview? You got a meeting or something? You got something to do? No.
That's what I said when you walked in today. I was like, where have you been?
I'm more comfortable than you. I'm sorry. I'm more comfortable and I look professional.
Yeah.
All right. So
the way to do it.
That's, and it's machine washable.
Ooh, like that's important too.
Dude, you just throw it in your washing machine in cold, hang it to dry.
Oh my God.
Pants too. Now, I like to get my stuff dry clean, so it's a little bit crisper, but not every time.
Yeah.
So,
listen, it's not the Vietnamese, but the Koreans, they know what they're doing.
Hey, man, I'm just saying.
And I can say that because I mean it.
Right? Yeah. I mean, if anybody speaking firsthand over here, right?
For listen, if we got nails, they got dry cleaning. They got it down pat. So
listen, man. So this is the new. I know people are getting a little freaked out, but this might be the style for a little bit.
And that's okay.
And it feels good. I'm in a t-shirt. I'm in my Samoan t-shirt.
Hell yeah.
And
that's what it's about.
And I'm looking professional.
It's about family.
So, man, just catching up over the weekend.
Yeah.
We've got Tom Brady retired.
Yeah, I saw that.
The GOAT of GOATs
of
retired.
all things for me to see, I saw Tom Brady retired and the Chargers won? Question mark? Cricket. I don't know.
Okay, so we can jump into that right now. So Brady retired.
Yeah.
The Bengals beat the Chiefs, which was a big upset. And the Rams beat the 49ers. So you got the Rams and the Bengals in the Super Bowl. I promise you, very little people picked the Rams versus the Bengals in the Super Bowl. I can promise you that this year. And if that's what you picked, you're probably a time traveler. Now here's what I can say. Over the weekend, I checked those games out. Those were cool. But we were talking before we came onto the show because I felt like me and Ethan had a little bit of overlap in our lives. A little bit of an overlap with the same foundation within different subcategories. I just had that thought. And a very nostalgia-based week for us here at Chat with Gunner for different reasons. But
very different reasons.
Let me just break down why I think me and Ethan are about to have a little bit of an overlap and why this could create a whole separate entity within the brand. And I'm the type of guy that it's really hard for me to not go all in something. So this is not something that's very tech savvy, not very IT savvy. It's nothing. It's literally what we're doing, but easier. All right. So, and it's content that I think people that don't even know me will watch for no reason whatsoever. All right. So here's what it is. I don't know how many people out there were around in the late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s ish, even going into the early 2000s, right? I'm sure a bunch of people out there, right? But during that time, collecting sports cards, trading sports cards was huge. I mean, sports cards have been huge forever, right? But when I was born, which was February 16th, 1991, if anybody's getting any ideas, that's a couple weeks away. You can send your presents to chatwithgunner@gmail.com, or you can text me, or
we do need a P.O. box at some point.
We need a P.O. box or a Venmo, and we'll open stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't mind doing that.
Yeah, it'd be cool. So, when I was born, my dad got me a bunch of cards. He got me that box set. It was a Topps box set, 1991, of every baseball player. So I've had that. And then my uncle got me a 1989 Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card, upper deck. Never been touched other than getting opened. It's in a little glass case. And then I had, several. I had a whole folder full of Ricky Henderson's, every card except the rookie. Just had a bunch of cards, and that I opened. I had a little action figure of David Robinson, stuff that I wish I never would have opened. I haven't seen those since I was, middle school or high school, because all that stuff was in my room on my shelves the entire time. And I was sitting there looking at it, just card. We were talking earlier. It's cardboard, right? It's just cardboard. Um, so me and Marcus were on the way home from Nashville on Sunday, and he's watching YouTube on my phone back there, and I can kind of hear on the YouTube video that he's watching. It's these kids, and these kids are, when I met Marcus a few years ago, these kids were 5 and 6. Well, now they're 3 years older, so they're 8 to 9, and these kids are getting into going to card shows, collecting sports cards and Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Am I saying that right? And different type things, and they're trading cards. And their dads are between my age and let's call them 45, which is that era of big, huge card collectors, and they're getting involved too. So then I was like, okay, I'm not real interested in Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh or that type stuff, but I am interested in understanding about the prices of the cards that I have. So it made me start thinking. Let me grab my phone from me, buddy. Listen to the radio or whatever for a minute. Let me check out the cards I know that I have. So I looked up the Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck card. I looked up the 1990 Chipper Jones rookie card. And I'm looking at these things. I'm like, okay, so that Ken Griffey card is about $2,500 to $3,000. Alrighty, I guess that makes sense. The Chipper Jones card is probably anywhere between what it's rated in between $100 to $500, and it's only going to continue to go up, being a great player that he was. Okay. I see that. And I'm like, that's probably not every card. Not every card can have value because that just wouldn't really make sense. Oh, okay. So we live in a world now where, and call me ignorant, but we live in a world now where crypto, NFTs, are a completely whole separate entity in the investment world. There's people that flip sneakers for a living on YouTube through other forums. And those same people are also doing sports cards. Now, people that have kids that are between the ages of 6 and 16 who are all into sports cards are now teaching their kids how to do that, except now it's profitable and it's easy to have a client base or easy to have a customer base because it's all through eBay and these other mediums to trade cards. So light bulb, if we had cool YouTube things, that would have been a point where you go, bling, like a light bulb thing goes off right there, but we don't. So the light bulb hit me that, wait a minute here. What can we do with this? I'm always trying to figure out a way to get a niche or a niche. Whoever, if you're listening to this, I've heard it pronounced two different ways. Somebody tell me the right way, because I've heard very intelligent people say niche and niche. So I need to know exactly what the answer is. So there's a vote in the comments below. What is it? Is it niche or niche? Niche is A, niche is B. Please tell me how you would like me to proceed. So I was thinking, how can I do this? So let me do my research here. Let me figure out what's this game. All right. So I've probably done, at least since Sunday, today's Thursday, I'd say a minimum of 2 hours a day, probably more so 3 hours a day, studying this market, this trend, this deal. And from an outsider's perspective, not knowing much about sports card investing or any type of card investing or trading, whatever it might be, first of all, it's all intertwined. If you go to a card show, you can trade Pokemons, you can trade Yu-Gi-Oh, you can trade presidential cards, you can trade Coca-Cola cards, you can trade comic books, you can trade anything that can be encased with a grading system on it. And there's, higher level grading systems and lower level grading systems. That's all going to bring you value, but it makes it authentic and certified. So it all kind of intertwines with each other. So I was looking at who are the influencers, who are the top guys in the sports card market, which would be more so what I would be interested in. And I would say in the sports card market, you've got about 10 guys, 10 voices that seem to stand out. Now, if you go into the views on YouTube and you sort it by week and you go by view, you've got one guy that can probably pull over 500K as far as views go. and the other guy is going to be right around there. It's going to be anywhere. His videos could vary between 20,000 and 500K, with the top being probably 800. But there's not really any 1 million plus views in the sports car market. But that's okay, because you don't have to have 1 million views to have a successful channel. And to be honest with you, anything over 100 views is better than nothing. Anything over 1 view is better than 1, right? So I'm not here for the views necessarily. I'm just here to hold ourselves accountable, keep doing this, and find something fun, but also find something that people are interested in, that we can provide content for, to make people happy. Like, that's you do these videos and people think that you're being selfish and that you're just trying to be the center of attention. You're trying to be on the camera and you're trying to, I don't know, make money and monetize and just put your face out there and brand. Sure, all those things are relevant. I get that. There's a, that's a part of it, or you wouldn't do this. There's other reasons. One of the reasons is I want to speak as much as possible, because my job is sales. So the more I speak, the better I get at it. Okay. I want to have conversations with people. The more conversations I have with people, the better I get at it. The more I'm able to lead a conversation, the better I get. The more questions I ask, the better I get. Like, all this is better. Just me and Ethan having conversations over the past 2 years has improved both of our lives. I promise you, as far as when it goes to like communication skills.
100%.
So I would take the money away. I would never give these Thursdays up. This is why we keep coming in here. But I truly want to find a way to provide content that, one, is entertaining, two, is enjoyable, but three, like, makes you happy, or something like you look forward to watching, because there's some type of a thrill. Maybe you learned something. Maybe you didn't know something. And listen, I don't know anything, but I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to learn something. So, what is that thing? And I think something we can try is sports card investing. Now, people are going to say, well, why would you want to do sports card investing? What's in it? Well, I challenge you to go to your phone right now, go to eBay, type in, I don't know who your favorite player is. Let's just say basketball. Michael Jordan, rookie card. Click on search, go to advanced, click on completed. All right. These are cards that have sold recently. Sort it by newest or earliest date, or the latest to end, or whatever, however you can sort it. You're going to see cards that are going for upwards of $50,000 on eBay, with, I'd say, the average card probably going for 15 to 20 $1,000, not 15 to $20. It just makes you think, like, okay, now getting a Jordan card is going to be difficult, right? Probably, maybe. And, not everybody has $15,000 to just buy a card with. And how do you know that card is not going to lose value? Well, guess what? They've got a market for that. There's places you can go to check the market as if it's a stock, like crypto or an NFT or anything. Literally, price to price, daily price changes, monthly price changes, what percentage up, percentage down. Now, I'm not a big stock guy, because I don't know enough about the companies to be able to ride that horse. Now, you got like the S&P 500 that's going to go up 6 to 9%, pretty much whatever. So you're going to get a return. But that's just like investing. That's just like throwing money into something and just not thinking about it. I want something to where I'm kind of gambling. I love gambling, right? We did that almost all of last year. But gambling got to the point to where it wasn't as fun, because I didn't want to just gamble with $5 or $10, right? But then it gets more stressful when you gamble with more money. Yeah, it's cool to win, but you lose more than you win. Ask any gambler, even the good ones. And there's no way to stop. So, what's a way to stay into sports, keep up with it, liking it, do some type of investing, and also do something with Marcus to teach him the real world? Sports card investing. All right. So, how do you do it? So, I found the influencers. I figured out what channels were decent. Now, what content are they putting out? Well, first of all, there's some guys that do podcast shows. Something I've noticed. One, very little true athletes that do it. No, like in the sports gambling world, you have analysts, and those analysts are former athletes or people that follow the sport really close, and they're giving you that perspective. Sports cards a little different. Not saying it's nerdy. I'm as much of a nerd as anybody when it comes to this. I'm just saying it's a little more nerdy. Okay, I don't know how else to say it, but it's not a bad thing. I mean, I'm literally wanting to do it, so I'm a nerd. It is what it is. You can be a nerd in whatever you want to be a nerd in. It's just whatever you're passionate about. First of all, people that say people are nerds, everyone's a nerd. What are you passionate about? Okay, nerd. That's what you're a nerd. You're a nerd about that passion. That's all being a nerd is. Just a slang word for nerd, for passion. So you know, what kind of content do we need? Do we need the podcast? Well, no, we got the podcast, Chat with Gunner, and Ethan brought that up. I was thinking, do something on here, but that doesn't make sense, right? Do we want to start a whole new channel? We've got 2,000 subscribers on here. I've got like over 250 on my personal one that I don't even plug. And then do we need to start something new? I don't know, maybe. What type of content? And then Ethan starts showing me these videos because I'm explaining to him what these guys do that get these 10, 15, 50, 100, 500,000 views. And he goes, oh, I bet it's this. So he goes over here into his nerd aspect of it, which is not anything bad, just his passion part of it, which is more Pokemon. And what was the name of the game?
Magic the Gathering. It's another card game, but
Yeah.
there are people that spend more money. I would argue the Magic the Gathering and Pokemon space separately is way bigger than the sports cards industry, only because it's older for what they're doing.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I would say, listen, I watched quick rant. I watched a video on Logan Paul getting scammed for $3.5 million on first edition Pokemon case.
What a cathartic video to watch, by the way.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Yeah. So, so there's big money in Pokemon, in the other game, and in sports cards. Big money. So there's little money too. And, there's guys that have their little niche or niche. I need somebody to A or B, right? I need somebody to tell me that. Of what they do. There's guys that walk you through why they would buy certain cards. There's guys that focus on the GOATs. So you got guys that focus on your Jordans, your Brady's, your Steph Curry's, your Mickey Mantle's, those GOAT cards, right? Because the theory there is, yeah, they're expensive, but just like a great company, they're not going anywhere. Eventually, no matter if the market goes down or up, they're always going to be higher than the rest of the cards. So that's kind of interesting. There's guys that show you how to buy a raw card and then get it graded and then flip it on eBay for a higher margin. There's guys that break down investing into rookie players the year they're rookies, going kind of all in on a player. Like, say you can go online and you can buy a raw card, just a raw rookie card of a guy that hadn't even played yet for, $2. Well, maybe you invest $1,000 into 500 rookie cards, hoping that this kid has a baller season and that $2 card turns into a $12 card. And then you sell those 500 cards for a $10 profit and 10x your investment. That's, one of the theories. That's more like gambling. That's kind of up my alley. I kind of like that, not gonna lie. But then there's the guys that go to sports card shows, which I didn't know were a thing, which is a very pro wrestling, extremely pro wrestling. And they go to these sports card shows and they videotape their deals. So what they'll do is they'll have a backpack on, they'll have their graded cards, which come in these really cool plastic cases with a grade on top. They'll walk over to a table that has like a shadow box full of more graded cards. They'll walk up, they'll strike up a conversation, and then they'll see a card in there they like. Maybe for example, me. So I'm a huge Tim Tebow fan. Huge Tim Tebow fan. Tim Tebow is not a very high desired card, right? Didn't have a great professional career, but Tim Tebow is also very liked, had a great college career. He's going to go into College Football Hall of Fame. He's going to, he's going to do great things in life and other regards. His card's going to keep going up in popularity. He's got a baseball rookie card and a football rookie card. Puts him in a whole different category as far as being like there with Deion Sanders and Bo Sanders. Anyway, I mean Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders. So, anyways, so let's just say, for example, Ethan's at this sports card event. Ethan's sitting at a table. He has his cards laid out. He's got 100 cards. He's got 2 boxes of 50 cards. And in one of these boxes, it's got a nice glass shadow box on it, is just sports cards. And on the other box is just Pokemon cards. And he's got a Charizard holographic going for $50,000. And he's got a
right about there. Yep.
Yeah, and he's got an MJ 86 Fleer rookie card, also going for $50,000. And then in the corner, after everybody's gazing over all these other awesome cards, man, I wish I had $50,000 to buy that. I wish I had 50. And in the corner, there's a Tim Tebow rookie card. Maybe that Tim Tebow rookie card's only $1,200.
Yeah.
It's in perfect condition. PSA 10, gem mint. All right, get nerdy with you here. PSA 10 gem mint condition, with a pop level of 300. There's only 300 of these in the world. All right, that's why it's $1,200. And I walk up and I go, "Hey man, love your collection here. It's a pretty cool Tebow card." "Yeah, man, I love that Tebow card." Yeah. You a Florida fan?" I just picked it up at another card show." "Oh, okay, cool. That's cool." "Well, you willing to get rid of that?" Yeah, I might get rid of it. "Well, how much for it?" 12. Cool. So what sports do you like? What are you into? I see you got a bunch of basketball. You got some Pokemon cards. What are you into? What are you looking for? "Well, man, I'm just a big basketball fan." "Oh, who you a fan of?" "I'm a fan of the Atlanta Hawks." "Oh, that's cool. You're a fan of the Hawks. You like Trae Young?" "Yeah, I like Trae Young." "Okay, cool, man, cool. I don't see any Trae Young cards here. You got any in your personal collection or anything?" "Yeah, man, I got several. I'm always trying to look for Trae Young cards." "Oh, cool. Well, hey, man, check this out. I'm a huge Tebow fan. You're a huge Trae Young fan. I just happen to have a Trae Young rookie card in my backpack. You want to work out some type of a deal here?" "Yeah, man, let's check it out." So then I would pull my backpack off. I'd lay out my Trae Young card. He'd lay out his Tebow card. We'd have our cards laid out on the table. And then the deal would happen, right? So then you'd be like, so this Tebow card's $1,200. This Trae Young card, let's just say he's, a couple years in, he's got plenty of time. Let's just call it $180. This card's $180.
Yeah.
You got 2 options here. You can negotiate, you can barter, like you can negotiate this price up and pay less cash. Or you can try to sell this guy on why that card's actually more valuable to him than that Tebow card is. Right? He can sell that Tebow card on eBay for $1,200. Might sit on auction for a year. How do you know you're a run across Tebow fan? You got one right in front of you. Why not get rid of it? So what I would try to do is I would try to get that Tebow card for a premium price, which is probably about $800, $900. And then I'd try to get more out of that Trae Young card, call it $250. Then I'd pay the middle with cash. All right. So say I'm paying $500. He's getting a Trae Young. He's getting cash. He's getting rid of a Tebow card he didn't even really want that he probably got for a steal. And now I'm going to go flip that Tebow card on eBay for $1,500. And if you don't buy it, that's cool. I got a badass Tim Tebow card in my collection. But if you buy it, awesome. I just made $800.
Yeah.
So when you start talking about that, like that's what I do every day. So my job is brokering, right? And logistics. My job is to go, we say this thing like we sell freight. Okay, yeah, that's cool. We do. I don't. I sell the customer on giving us freight. Okay. In theory, I'm buying freight. I buy the freight from the customer. I will buy your load for $1,000. Please let me ship your load for $1,000. That's pretty much what we say. And I've never thought about it like that until I related it to sports cards. I've always been like, we want to be your customer, blah, blah, blah. No, we want to be your partner. Let's partner up. I'm going to give you $1,000. I mean, they're paying us that, right? They're paying us $1,000. But I'm going to give you $1,000, and then I'm gonna go book that load. Pretty much what we're doing. Because say we get that load for $1,000 and we book it for 12. Well, now I just lost $200. But we get that load for $1,000, we book it for 8. I just made 200. So it's a card investing. It's brokering. That's all it is. So it's hard for me to just tip my toes in things, or just tip my toes into the water. But
it's so funny that this is the kind of stuff that I was experiencing way back when I was into Magic the Gathering, and I was, going to card shops, hanging out with people, playing the game, but also like, hey, I got my binder with me. Do you want to go through it while I go through your binder? And it's literally just trading. They're literally called trading cards. You
can call it sports cards. They're called trading cards
because you're supposed to trade them. And sometimes real money would be involved because it would be like, oh, this one is actually like, we would have our phones out and we'd check prices, and maybe I'd only get 2 cards, but I'm giving him 3. But those 2 cards are going to be really good in my deck or in my collection because they look cool, or they're my favorite character, whatever it may be.
Sure.
Or they may be worth something later on.
Yeah.
Like that's what's so interesting about it to me, is that now you literally explaining all of that for the past 10 minutes.
Sure.
Literally was me in high school and right into college. Like that was all I did. And I could have probably made decent money just flipping cards. Not really caring about what the game was or anything like that. But if I was like, if I flip these cards, I can buy a whole box. If I open the whole box, there's a price on the cards that are possibly in the box. There's some money to be made. It's only $100 for a box of new Magic Gathering cards, and you can get at least 50% of that back on your investment. It's so weird.
So I heard a couple guys, and this is the same thing you just said. Like I heard a couple guys say this in the sports card world.
Yeah.
And first of all, I'm coming into the sports card world. Just let everybody know. Your boy's coming.
Well, you're dressed for the job, all right?
Yeah, listen. I'm coming. The people's captain. Wait a minute. Let's go ahead and debut this name real quick.
Oh, Jesus. You don't want to give it out too early.
The people's card collector is coming into the sports card world, right? And I'm not saying we're going to be the number 1 guy, number 2, number 10, number 100 guy, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach Marcus. That's my motive. That's my my driving factor. I'm going to teach Marcus investing. Because I don't even invest right. So I'm going to teach Marcus investing and entrepreneurship and all that stuff. I mean, with sports, what's cooler than that? What is cooler than bonding over sports, teaching him sports, learning the players, knowing who's good and who's not good, and learning business and how to sell and how to negotiate, how to talk to people? The kid's going to be, like, if we keep this up and do that, he'll be a savage by 16. And if you look online, and I'm sure that in your space too, there's kids 12, 13, 14, 15 years old running shop with these cards.
Yeah.
Negotiating with grown men, guys that are doing millions of dollars of deals in like actual business, going to card shows on the weekend.
Gary V was doing it for a while. I mean, he still is, but like
he's trendy. He jumped into NFTs. But yeah, Gary V was a huge proponent of the sport. Vegas Dave, the gambler, jumped into sports cards for a while. Logan Paul's into Pokemon cards. Mm-hmm. The DJ guy, Steve Io, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
So he's huge into card collecting.
Steve Aoki.
Steve Aoki. He's huge into card collecting. A bunch of big time movie producers are huge into card collecting. And you know why? Because what did you like to do when you were a kid? Well, when kids came over to your house, what did you want to do? Like, what did you do when kids came over?
You just showed off all the cool stuff.
Yes. Yes. Hey man, come to my room, check out my toys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yo, bro, look at this new Buzz Lightyear I got.
You want to play with my toys with me?
Yeah.
That's how you made friends.
Oh, yeah.
How'd you make friends? People used to ask me, how do you make friends? I don't know. Play with them.
Yeah.
You know? How do you make friends now? Like, how do you, in sales, how do you make friends? Quit selling and start playing with people. Figure out some common ground and have fun.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned that. Like, my number one customer in our company, my guy, my relationship. We talk about zero work. I'll leave that to operations.
Yeah.
Or like nowadays, we are removed really from work other than like unless we have to. What we talk about now is going to a UFC fight at the end of March that I'm gonna take him to. The next time coming up, going to grab a drink, going to dinner. Hey man, did you bet on anything this past weekend? Hey man, how's life? Like cool things. Like that's how we bonded. It wasn't over like, hey, let me get this price for this and let me make this money and thanks, dude. That's part of it. But it's the relationship that matters. Now I got to figure out a way to do that with more people. But it's easy to do it with sports cards. It's already there. And like back to the whole thing of like how do you find your niche in a already niched space. We already have it. It's this. It's we've being consistent, having a show, doing this, being stupid, being funny, being educational, whatever. But like I've said, there's no big time athlete. Not saying I'm a big time athlete. I'm just saying I have some experience. There's nobody kind of that I can notice in my type of. There's nobody in my kind of deal here bringing that type of. There's no pro wrestlers jumping into the sports card space. We'll say that, right?
That's fair.
Now they're all into streaming. They're more into the video games, Twitch. They might do like some Pokemon stuff like that.
Yeah,
but not a whole bunch in the sports card space. I'm sure there's some, but not a whole bunch. So there's a little bit of an avenue that we have. So we're going to try to take the avenue. So what Ethan said, and Ethan's he's my social guy. So that's what we do. Instead of running those things on here, I think we're going to try to put on another channel. So we're looking for that channel. That channel will be the People's Card Collector. Such an awesome name. I'm okay. Marking out my own name. I get it, whatever. But People's Captain, Pro Wrestler, big fan of The Rock, the People's Champion, the People's Card Collector. I think it's cool. Anyways, so we're gonna do that. We'll have some shows where like Marcus does the unboxing with us.
That'd be fun.
Because that'd be really cool.
Oh yeah.
But literally it's just gonna be
it's just hands.
It's pretty much hands, maybe a small video in the corner or whatever, like a facial expression or whatever. But
and then like a microphone that's just to be able to hear what you're saying.
Yeah, and it'll just be talking through opening this pack while we're opening it, what we're looking for, potential values of these cards.
What would be cool to just have?
Yeah, what would
not
be cool?
even like
personal collection, like the difference in a personal collection and like what you would try to sell or invest in.
It's your collection versus your portfolio.
You're exactly right. Portfolio versus personal collection and portfolio.
That's exactly how we always used to talk about it.
That's what they do too. They call it their PC. Is this a PC card or is this that'd be like your negotiating strategy. That's a PC. Yeah, but how much?
How much is that worth to your PC?
Yeah.
Bro?
So that's how you raise the value of cards. It's not the value of eBay. It's the value of how much it's worth to you. How can you sell that person? How much it's worth? That's very intriguing. I don't think my niche is going to be opening cards, figuring it out, packaging them, and auctioning them on eBay. Way too much work for me.
The cool ones, sure.
Yeah.
The ones that are worth the time.
Well, no, I think what I would like to do, and there's a little bit of a backlog now due to the pandemic. From what I heard during the pandemic, all the kids that were big sneakerheads, flipping sneakers, jumped into sports cards.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I heard. I don't know if that's 100% true.
A lot of people jumped into sports cards because of the boom. And you talked about it probably before.
But it was pandemic.
Yeah.
Because everybody was home.
Yeah, everyone's home where they were like,
so you'd order sports cards, order them and open them, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it came from. And they disrupted the space that was really nothing of a bunch of people that's been doing it for years. And now those people are super salty.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Super salty at the guys that just came in and became sports card influencers is what they'd be called.
Basically.
Right? And, listen, I'm not saying that I think that I would be a more fun follow, but some of these guys are idiots. All right. And I'm not being mean. And I'm an idiot too, most of the time. But like these guys, the fact that they're pulling off 50 to 100,000 subscribers and getting views upwards of almost 1 million per video blows my mind. Now, the videos I've seen Marcus watch on YouTube, it shouldn't blow my mind too much to see what kids watch. But these videos would be kid friendly.
Oh, yeah.
They would be educational. They would involve business, investing, negotiating, strategy, like luck, the suspense, the surprise, the opening,
the gambling,
dude, it covers everything that we pretty much talked about on here.
Oh yeah.
In a category I never would have thought about. If you'd have told me, Ethan, 2 years ago, hey man, we're gonna get to about episode 100, and then you're gonna start opening sports cards on camera, and we're gonna go to a card show. I'd say, Ethan, quit doing drugs. That's what I'd say. Yeah, listen, you're getting too nerdy on me. All right. Now I'm a bigger nerd than Ethan is. How about
this? At this point, yes. At this point, I don't even care about
nerd in the office,
anymore.
right? I'm the top nerd in the office. So here's kind of, and I love, this is fun too, because I love how everything comes on here on Thursday. It's turned into more like a vlog. Like,
it kind of has.
You know, when we get on here and we kind of talk through strategy.
Yeah.
So one of these days, you're going to be able to look back and go, oh, they got there because, well, there's what they did. They just talked about it.
Yeah.
Like there's their strategy. They don't really think about anything. They just talk about it on Thursdays. So last week it was, we're going to the website is in works.
Yep.
The different types of channels, the content, all that's fair. That's 100% happening. Website's done. I just don't like it. I've got to do a couple more. I've got to either hire one more person to do a couple more things. I got to get some pictures made. Something. I just don't like it. But the template's done for the most part.
Yeah.
But now that we have this little area, that's a whole different section that can go in there that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense, actually. So the website will have now a section for this People's Card Collector, because that'll be its own brand. There'll be a section for just me, because it's my website and my name. There'll be a section for the podcast, which will be all things me and Ethan, because Ethan also has a section of the podcast, which we need to also get you doing more chat with Ethans.
Yeah.
You know, like that needs to be kind of a thing.
A Tuesday thing.
Yeah. You know, something like, it don't have to be an hour, but it could be a movie review or a whatever.
Oh yeah.
You know, something.
100%.
And then, so anything that goes through the Chat with Gunner channel that'll be a section. And then there's going to be a section for like business, which is more so logistics, 12-point logistics and sales and coaching and training and that type of advice. Now, all of this will have a newsletter that's already into it. And then that's pretty much the gist. There'll be the beginning of it will just be the videos, whatever the latest video is, whether that's Card Collector, Chat with Gunner, whatever, it'll just pop up. Everything is just gonna be accessible right there. You want to leave a review? It's there. You want to, whatever you want to do is gonna be on the website. You don't have to go to Facebook, to Twitter, to Instagram, to where you just go to gunnermiller.com. Pretty simple process. And it's very easy to type in. So all that's done. I just have to turn it on, and I'm not ready yet. Not that I'm a perfectionist, far from that. I need it to look a little bit better before we go live. Just a little bit more functional, more than just bare.
It's times like these I wish I would have taken web design in high school.
I wish you would have too, because I'm getting tired of paying these Pakistanis.
Whoa.
Hey, I'm just saying where they're from. I'm nothing against them. It's just really hard to communicate with people that are doing
on the other side of the world.
Google Translate
in a totally different
on Fiverr.com. You know,
yep.
I mean, it's good work for $20, but what is what is. So, anyways, that's kind of the direction we're going. Marcus will be involved in some of them, but not all of them, because it's not that he's shy on the camera or anything. I just don't want to make it like a job to him.
Here's the thing. Family channels are big, but there is a one common denominator for all family channels. They eventually implode, because you're putting kids right in front, like you're putting a camera right in front of kids all the time.
Yeah.
And even though that's not what you're planning on doing,
No.
you don't want that's not something that a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, even a 10-year-old necessarily needs.
Well, if you ask him what he wants to do, he's going to give you two answers 79% of the time. One of them is, I'm going to be a pro wrestler.
Oh, yeah?
I'm going to be a YouTuber.
That's what kids want to
All
do right now.
So he wants a YouTube channel. He wants, and this is, again, this goes back to how this kind of all was going through. I was like, hey, buddy, watch some things that show me some stuff you want to do. And it just happened to pop up into sports cards. I was like, wait a minute.
Hold on.
Wait a minute. We can do this. Absolutely. And he likes watching. He likes opening it.
Yeah.
Because we bought a couple of cheap boxes. I wanted to see, how to react. I was like, yeah, put the gloves on. He's got his gloves on. He's opening the boxes. He's looking at them. He just doesn't know what's good and what's bad.
Yeah.
Right. But he'll learn as he gets older, and he'll teach him who the good players are. Just like we did when we were kids. But the biggest thing, I think, without him knowing it, is going to be teaching him entrepreneurship, business, investing, negotiating, and communicating. It's just going to happen on accident. Yeah. And it's going to give him like a thing for us to do. So you got these guys that do the podcast version, the interview version, they give the informational version, but then you got the guys that do the sport card shows, which I really enjoy. Like that's probably my favorite one, where they get up, they go to the sports card show, they have a camera guy follows them, they go to the different tables and they try to work out deals. Then they pretty much title their show, I traded this for $25,000 worth of cards or whatever it is. I like that aspect of it. Or I went to a sports card show with a $200 budget and did that. Like I like that type of stuff. I think that would be fun challenges and stuff to do. But with our own twist on it. I bring a little bit more of a analytical sports perspective to sports cards, more so as the athlete himself than the fan, I believe. I give more of that sports psychology aspect to why I think which team should win or fighter should win or which card should be a good card to invest in. I think I can do that. I'm probably going to be 50% right or right half the time, right? Just like anything. You're either going to be right or wrong. I learned that in gambling. So with investing, it's kind of like you'll be 25% wrong. And here's why. Because when you gamble on a game, say you take $100 and you gamble on the Super Bowl, I'm going Bengals. And that's really
do it for Harambe.
That's really what I'm going, right? I want the Bengals to win. But gamble in a different way. So if you bet $100 on the Bengals or $100 on black or $100 on red, whatever it is, and it doesn't happen, you lose $100 and you have nothing to show for it. It's not like you get to have something in your hand that says, well, I lost $100. Here's the $100 I lost. When you buy a stock or you buy a cryptocurrency or you buy, something like an NFT, you buy something and you still can't touch it. You can't, there's nothing there unless you trade it in and get money. So now we're getting a little bit closer, right? But you still can't touch it. When you spend $100 on a box of cards or a specific card, it's yours. Now, it's not just yours as in like I just lost $100. It's yours as in I purchased this because this is art to me. This looks cool. This is something I can show this is something I'm proud of. This is someone that I'm a fan of. This is something that I want to show. Hey, come play with me. Come play with my sports cards with me. Come look at these cards. Do you have cool cards? We just became friends, right? Oh, you have a card that I don't have? Would you like to trade one of mine for yours? That type of thing. But there's also the aspect of, I have this card. I think it's worth this amount of money. I sell this card. Oh, I just made $700. So there's different aspects of this. And, the guys will say in the space, the hobby, right? They refer to it as The hobby goes up, the hobby goes down, the hobby blah 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 blah. I'm not trying to come into this space to join the space and act like I've been doing this for 20 years. I haven't. I've been doing completely other things. Division 1 college football, sports my whole life, professional wrestling, jumped into podcasting, jumped into logistics, jumped into sales, now into ownership and management, trying to get a little bit more diverse into the social mediums as far as YouTube. Engaged, got a kid, different phase of my life here. All right. So I bring all that into this to say, I'm not a sports card investor, I'm not a sports card guy, none of this. But I think it might be fun. It's a hobby. It's not the hobby, right? It's a hobby though, just like, anything. And it's a better, to get obsessed or addicted to something. I think this might be much better than gambling, much better than like an Adderall or something, right? Probably more so on the lines of like fitness. You do it, you can brag about it, show it off. You can do it with other people. You can build relationships through it. And then it can either just be for yourself or for a reason to be monetary. And then for the reason would be in fitness, bodybuilding, fitness shows, professional wrestling, modeling, magazines, influencing, blah, blah, blah. In sports card, personal collection. Hey, this is cool. This is my art. Or money, card shows, flipping on eBay, business, learning, teaching kids, investing, strategy, blah, 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 blah. So that's where I'm at. I think that's something we can add to the channel. So be looking for the People's Card Collector on top of the other many things that we do. And I like the fact that Chat with Gunner is everything. We're fitness. We're comic books. We're movies. We're TV shows. We're gambling. We're sports card investing. We're cool card games. We're video games. We're relationships. We're funny stories. We're interviews. We're long form conversations. We've had various types of people on the show. We support local fighters. We support local athletes. We support local companies. This whole thing was started Chat, CHATT, Chattanooga with Gunner, right? So, not that we've gotten away from anything. We've just had this whole umbrella of stuff to come in. We've had people follow the journey. Some people pop in at different times. It's not like we have everybody at the same time, but it's fun. We've got interviews with people across the country. We got interviews with people in studio. We have a studio, right? How cool is that? So it's really cool to be able to do those things. And one of these days, this company right here, Rain, is going to sponsor us. And so is State and Liberty, the clothing company. They're going to sponsor us. I told you one of these days somebody's going to sponsor us.
One of these days, they gotta.
Refreshing.
If you ask loud enough, they'll answer.
Dude, all it's going to take is just get a little bit of something going. So let me know what you guys think. Put it in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about the whole card. What are your card collecting stories? What are your favorite cards that you have? What's a card that you would like to have? Remember to like, subscribe, follow, do all the stuff. Have you been to any card shows? Who do you think good cards to invest would be in? Stuff like that. But other than that, we've got a little bit of catching up to do, and we still got some time.
Got a little bit of time.
What else have we missed? I know we talked at the beginning. Tom Brady retired. So we got the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl's coming up.
Man,
it's a weird time because things are still happening. Stuff is interesting, but it's none of the stuff we've talked about before.
Well,
other than like football, obviously. Super
sure.
Bowl is always
What's interesting?
Well, I mean, Quebec or Ottawa is being just inundated with honking, which is hilarious to me.
Is that the truck drivers?
Oh yeah, #Freedom Convoy.
I'm pretty sure it's like what, up to almost 100 miles long now.
Yeah, it stretches from the border between America and Canada to Ottawa, like of just trucks.
Well, that also sucks. You know why?
Yes, it does suck.
It sucked up all the capacity.
Mm-hmm.
But that whole vaccine mandate up there
Yeah.
for truckers, get out of here,
It's
man.
hilariously stupid. And that's the thing. Like the mandate for regular people versus truckers is one thing. The truckers are just saying, like, listen, we spend 99% of our day alone in a truck.
Yeah.
The other times, we can wear a mask, we can wash our hands, we can do everything that we need to do, but we're not, like, there's no reason to be mandating a vaccine for people that do not interact with anybody else throughout their day.
Especially the drivers that are just crossing the border. Like, okay, so little tip.
Yeah.
In logistics, say you're a truck driver and you're picking up a load in the States and you're delivering into Canada. All right. That you don't have to have a passport. You don't, there's a card that you
It's like
have.
a work visa, right?
Yeah,
technically.
Yeah, it's like a card that you have. You get to the border and you just get to go through. You got to show them your bills. You got proof. You have your trailer has to be sealed. You have to be prove that it's loaded, right? But you can't come back like just empty. You can't just go deliver in Canada, hang out for a few days, and then just drive back with nothing.
Yeah.
You have to bring something back, right? Unless you're from Canada and you got a passport or
Yeah.
whatever it might be. So now you've just lost the majority of capacity from your American drivers that deliver into Canada, from companies that do a lot of shipping in North America, not just United States.
Yeah.
Right.
Canada's a big place with a lot of people.
Yeah. And,
So-
and there's a lot of shipping out of Michigan, New York, not in those states, in Canada.
Yeah.
Right. It's crazy, man. And the trucking market, the rate per mile is the highest it's ever been
100%.
right now. Oh, it's not even close.
Yeah.
Highest it's ever
Well, no,
been.
I mean, like 100%. Like,
No, yes.
yeah, duh.
No, the highest it's ever been. So we were looking at lanes today. We're doing some quoting for the rest of the year, and it's impossible because
Well,
usually you can look at the tools and historical data. It would change between giving, summer, winter, whatever, different seasons, somewhere around, let's just call it 10 to 25 cents per mile.
Okay.
From January 2021, and it was already high, to January 2022, it's almost 55 to 75% per mile increase.
Jesus.
Which means like a $1,000 load in January of last year is now costing you $2,500 to ship. For example, say you have a load that is 300 miles. Okay, 300-mile load.
Sorry.
In a normal trucking market, you're looking at between, let's just base it off of $2.25, 300 miles. You're probably going to pay the truck driver $650 to $700. You're going to ask the customer for $800, $850. You're going to make about $150 on a load. Worst case, break even. Sometimes lose a little bit of money, depending on the capacity, whatever. But more, 7 out of 10 times, make $150, $200. That's how brokerages live. All right. Now, you just don't know. You're having to bid. I mean, there's lanes that are $5 a mile. Like a 300-mile run now, minimum, you at least got to bid $900 to $1,200. But that's a whole different topic that I could get completely pissed off.
Well, here's a question: Is this you saying you're annoyed with the truckers, or is it annoyed that the truckers are having to do this?
Both.
Okay.
Here, listen. As a broker, there's always this ongoing battle, right? And it is brokers don't care about truck drivers, and truck drivers don't care about brokers, right? That's that's the game.
Yeah.
In theory, there's neither one of us without each other.
No.
I've never understood that. Like, we don't even have a business if there's no truck drivers.
And truck drivers don't know where to go unless they have a broker.
And unless they work for a huge company and they are running freight for like a massive asset trucking company that has dedicated freight through like a Walmart or a Target or whatever, which most likely you don't. If you're an owner operator, you bought your truck, you're leasing your truck,
Yeah,
you're renting
that's
your
the
truck.
thing. All of these truckers that are currently in Ottawa and across the border in Canada are personal business owners, and
Yes.
it's their trucks. It's the only way
Yes.
they can do it, technically. But
Yeah. It's the owner operators. As a brokerage, you make your money building relationships with owner operators to provide them business.
Yeah.
Because if they have one or two trucks, they can't go out and grab a huge account like we can.
Mhm.
But we can by going out and saying, "Hey, we've got 1,500 carrier partners that have really small fleets that we could utilize in these areas." All right. So, but when all those guys get pissed off and they decide, well, I mean, why would I work with this brokerage if they're just trying to make money off of me? If I can go out and just go to any brokerage and just say, hey, I'm not moving my truck unless you pay me this. For the first time ever, it's a trucker's world.
Yeah.
It's always been the broker, always been, and the truckers have always hated the broker. Not now.
Yeah.
Not now. And it's not that I hate the truckers. I feel bad for them.
Yeah.
But also they're putting all those
They're
in a bad
making
spot.
your job way harder.
Putting us in a bad spot.
And that's the thing. Like, it's fascinating to me, and maybe you've thought about this more because you literally work with them. But a lot of people I know have been saying, like, it's fascinating because this is the biggest protest in decades, at least in the 21st century. The biggest protest ever, bigger than Occupy, bigger than a lot of stuff. And it's coming from blue collar workers. It's literally what people on the left really, really want, which is the workers of the world uniting. Yeah, the workers have united against what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
But it's also fascinating that it didn't really. It's not even like they're doing a lot. It's not like they're all having to organize and go to the Capitol and, well, I mean they are, but it's not like this big huge thing. They're not having to do a lot. They're literally just doing one thing. They're going to one place and they're just honking. And that's how much power truckers have in our society. Because let's be honest here, that the capital of Canada, I guess it's Ottawa. I don't know Canadian government, but they've all just decided we're gonna sit here and we're gonna wait until somebody talks to us, and they just have that collective bargaining at that point, and the restraint they must have had up until now not to do that is what's fascinating. A lot of people is they have that much power because they literally, your world wouldn't work. I mean, your world definitely, but like just society in general, you wouldn't be able to get half the goods you get from half the places it comes from without truckers.
Well, newsflash, everybody. If trucks stop moving, world shuts down in 2 weeks. Not okay, so every piece of toilet paper ply that you've wiped your butt with, every chair that you've sat on, every wall that has comforted you in your house, every roof that has been put over your head, every lawnmower that keeps your grass from looking like a jungle, every vehicle that you drive, every piece of nutrition that you put in your mouth, and every liquid that you drink is all delivered by truck.
At some point, someplace, somehow, everything was on a truck.
It was on a truck. So think about that next time you're being mean to a truck driver.
Yeah.
Think of, and that's brutally honest. Think about that when you're talking to people in logistics and transportation and people that work for companies that manufacture things. I mean, dude, these truckers have a lot more power than you think. If the truckers stopped, like you got Biden out there saying these truckers need to go to work, buddy, you're going to be the flagship, the face of maybe the worst era in modern civilization.
Yeah.
If you don't get these guys feeling better about their situation or just comfortable. And all they're asking for is just, I mean, in Canada, I guess they don't have it, but like they're just their First Amendment right of just being themselves.
Yeah.
Like
Well, they just want their human right of being able to make their decisions for themselves,
As they
and
should.
as they
small
should.
business owners, they should.
Yes, and that's the thing. It's one of those things where yes, you know, the current state we live in with the pandemic has changed a lot of things and how we think about a lot of things. Because I mean, yeah, a lot of people weren't washing their hands before this pandemic. Let's be honest here. A lot of people started washing their hands a lot better, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And yes, you know, the truckers themselves are being selfish. You can say that. But if the truckers themselves don't do this, then the world gets steamrolled by policies that aren't necessarily advantageous to anybody. It's just being given to us by people that think they know better than everyone else.
They're the only ones with a voice. They were the first ones declared emergency workers during COVID, during the pandemic.
Like,
why do you think? Because you have. What happened to the stores? There's no toilet paper. There's no paper towels. Well, who
people
delivered
freaked out because of it.
Yeah, who delivered them?
Yeah,
the truck drivers did.
And they were working their asses off.
Yeah, it was truck drivers and your emergency workers, as far as like your front line, your nurses, your doctors. That was the most important people during that whole time.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
I can't argue with that.
And those are the ones that need to stand up. The ones that are saying, well, you got to be vaccinated to be a doctor or a nurse. Those are the ones that got to stand up, and they are. The ones that got to stand up are the truck drivers. Hey, you got to do this, I got to do that. No, we don't. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to move these trucks. Why don't you go find you some truck drivers? There's already a shortage.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
One of my friends that I work with, he was like, I think right now is probably the best time for me to make a career change. I'm just going to be a truck driver.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a lot more money for doing a very simple task.
Well, okay. So,
not simple, but
first of all, the respect to the truck drivers, because driving Pennsylvania to LA, no,
listen,
thank you.
I just drove in October from Chattanooga to Los Angeles in 4 days. Most truck drivers have to do that in 2 or less.
Well, they do teams.
Well, yes, but
I see what you're saying.
But I'm saying like we were going for pleasure and we took our time. If you've got a job to do and your money is waiting for you in LA, you're gonna have to make a way to doing that a lot faster.
I can tell you this: truck drivers are doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the rates have went up as far as the prices the truck drivers are charging us to ship their freight, which we're having to charge the customers to ship freight, which means the customers are having to add that price to their shelves, which means inflation, you idiots. Anyways, so that's a simple way to break down inflation. Thank you, Mr. Biden. So anyways, like those guys, gas isn't diesel isn't extremely high, right?
It's so funny to me. Every time I go to the gas station now, I'm like looking at the gas price. I'm like, okay, that's where it was 2 days ago. I should probably get some now. And then I look at diesel. I'm like, man, that's way cheaper than I thought it would be.
Yeah, and it used to be like diesel used to be like $1 higher, right?
Yeah,
or whatever. But like diesel's relatively fine. Diesel's like gas. It's not a big deal. So for the truck drivers, the diesel hasn't necessarily changed. It was a lot cheaper last year, but it hasn't necessarily changed in the grand scheme of diesel over the past decade.
No.
All right. So that cost is the same. Their truck cost hasn't went up. They had their truck. Their truck cost is the same. Right. They're charging almost 2 to 3 times what they would normally charge. Okay. Truck drivers probably on average, I'd say the average truck driver working like out on the road, doing his own thing, whether he's working for a company or owns his own business, probably making on average, let me just guess, $50,000 to $85,000 a year. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Away from your family, is that worth it? Bunch of hours on the road, is that worth it? Sitting down all the time, is that worth it? Whatever, that's probably what they're making. I would say that's just regular drive and freight. Dude, I would say this past year, I don't know what the numbers are. I would love to know exactly. I'd love somebody to dive into the data. I bet the average truck driver last year made 150K. I
No,
guarantee you.
easy.
And this is why. Because January, this is how historically how freight rates go. They skyrocket from October through December.
Well, of course.
Why?
Christmas,
Retail,
holidays,
Christmas,
retail. Yep.
your big box stores, Amazon, Targets, Walmarts, the big grocery stores, everything getting ready for Christmas. All right. January, February, beginning of March, rates bottom out. Right? Truck drivers are ready to work. The holidays are over. They're trying to get anything they can, trying to stay in good with their customers, just trying to keep the freight rolling, trying to keep things moving because freight is down for the most part, especially when it comes to like building materials and stuff like that because it's so cold. So that's not really doing any of that stuff. So stuff moving now is really just like, necessities.
Yeah.
And little materialistic things. But most people don't buy materialistic things in the first quarter because they just spent all their money in the fourth
During
quarter.
Christmas. Yep.
Right. So usually it's just commodities, perishables, food, that type of stuff, that type of business you want. And it's usually cheap. So freight rates will go down. Springtime comes around. Freight rates kind of go up a little bit because now you're getting into produce, you're getting into water, you're getting into summer, you're getting into the first holidays, blah, blah, blah. Then summer comes around, building materials, open deck stuff, and then back into. So usually the market was second quarter to fourth quarter, you hammer it. First quarter, you get your shit together.
Yeah.
Well, dude, now those guys made so much money. This is why they're able to do this. Those guys made so much money last year for the entire year.
Yeah.
Like probably 2, 3, 4 times what they normally make. A large portion of them took off after Christmas, right? And they're still off.
Yeah.
And they just sit their truck. They go to an area to where they know it's a tough market. Right? This area is a tough market, whatever. And they just park at a truck stop or a gas station or whatever. And they post their truck up on a board. This is the boards that we operate off of.
Yeah.
They post their truck up. We post our loads up. They don't call. Usually phones are blowing up in January. I need that freight, I need that freight. They don't call. So now we're having to call out to these truck drivers. You ask them, hey man, what would you do this lane for? And you're looking at the historical data, and the historical data says, for example, $1,000, whatever. And the truck driver goes, yeah, I'd do that for about, I don't know, $3,500. and you go, excuse me, I don't know if you heard the lane correctly. It's, it's like 250 miles, 300 miles, whatever it might be, 1 day trip. But what about 1,200? Does that work for you? No, man, I'm doing about $3,500. Oh, okay, cool. All right, bye. Then you look at other postings. Don't call me unless it's $10 a mile. Don't call me unless it's $8 a mile. Don't call me unless it's $5 a mile. Do not call me unless it's $2,000 a day.
I mean,
and you're like, okay. So you go to your customer and you're like, hey, well, I can't get anybody to do this for this rate. And they go, okay, cool, I don't really care. You said you're going to do it for that price. And you're like, well, yeah, I guess so. So if you want to keep your customer, you got to take the loss.
Yeah.
So now we're used to making $100,000 a month. Now you're losing $1,000 a load. So that's kind of the situation that we're in. Now, like anything, like the stock market or like the sports card market or like any market, crypto, whatever, it's going to hit a ceiling and it's going to come back down. And, people are going to start working. And traditionally in a Democratic ran presidency, this is how it works. It wasn't as bad during Obama. I was at the end of it, but still it wasn't good.
Yeah.
Everybody was saying, this is the worst freight's ever been. Like during that whole.
Have you talked to those people now?
Yeah. And now they're saying, this is the worst freight's ever been. But the whole time Trump was in office, it really was good for our industry.
Oh yeah.
Because he's a very American first, pro America, blue collar guy.
Less shipping in, more shipping throughout.
Yeah. Absolutely. And the tariffs on China and everything, it just kind of worked for us. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. So like a container,
Mm-hmm.
a container on average back in the day, $2,500 to $4,000. You know what a container goes for now?
No idea.
$20,000 to $30,000. That's why thousands of them are sitting out in the sea.
Yeah, they're just that's what's funny. Did you see the article? I don't know if I sent it to you or not. It was literally ships are being asked to park further out to sea so nobody can see them.
Yeah, seriously,
It's terrible.
it's ridiculous.
But that's not necessarily a conversation for now. But I just wanted to get your take on the trucker thing because that it directly impacts you.
Well, yeah. So, I got two sides to it. I got the guy that's the business side of me that says, man, it sucks.
I'm losing a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm losing out on a lot of money. It's a bunch of like service issues for my customers, which looks bad on us. And, there's a bunch of scam artists out there right now too, taking advantage of the situation.
Yeah.
But the other side of me is like just the human side of me and me putting myself in their shoes, which I try to do in every situation now as I get older, is, man, it sucks for them.
Yeah.
It sucks for them. That's their livelihood. And they're finally making good money. And then you got people trying to take that away from them.
Trying to tell them how to do their job and how to live their lives.
But who's going to replace them?
Exactly.
It's not like there's just a bunch of colleges that are spitting out truck drivers.
Here's the thing, and that's where I think we're not in a death spiral. This is not a death spiral, but this is where things have gotten to a point where a bubble is going to pop. And we weren't focused on training truck drivers. When I was getting out of high school, not one of my classmates said, "Oh yeah, I'm just going to go do truck driving." Not all of them went to go do college, but I would bear to guess that nobody in my graduating class, became a truck driver. I just never heard that coming out of anybody's mouth. So you've got that may have happened more years in a row, and you've got a loss of people just doing blue collar work in general because everyone's thinking that they gotta go to college, gotta get a degree. And you don't need to do that for truck driving.
I got to go into $200,000 of debt to never pay it off.
And so we're at this point where we've spent so long telling people, "Oh, go to college. You can make a lot of money when you get a diploma." And now we're sitting in a point where we've got a lot of older truck drivers, and we don't have that many young truck drivers now. Again, like my friend here recently was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go get my CBL or whatever it takes to become a truck driver," and he's gonna start saving up money. He's gonna work for somebody, whatever it may be. He's gonna just go do that because it makes a lot more money.
Yeah.
So unless a lot more people start doing that, you're gonna get this sort of stuck area where truck drivers aren't gonna do what they were used to do because now they realize, oh, we can have a little bit more leverage here than we did before.
Yeah, and dude, listen, I will never bash anybody for taking advantage and making money. That's what brokers been doing for a long time. And now the truckers got the power and good for them. But like everything has phases, right? It's going to pop. The bubble is going to pop. Like if you look at the trends, man, I'm not lying. Almost in any market you look at, and it usually does this throughout the year. That's what a normal truck market looks like. Right now, it's doing this. That's the rates.
Mm-hmm. But there is a ceiling where a broker can't offer you that much money, and then people start lowering their prices again, going back to where they can.
They're testing it, man. They're trying to see how much these brokers can get out of their customers to figure out what that margin is, to then how can they suck up the most of that.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of how people say like crypto works, just to break it down into something that I know a little bit more about. Bitcoin hits $65,000 of Bitcoin. Well, it's going to plummet. It's going to go back down. Yeah. You can't be bullish an entire year.
Right.
So you go into a bear market a little bit more. It goes down. It goes down. It goes down. It doesn't bottom out like it usually does.
Sure.
Not as low as it was, 2 years ago. But then it starts growing and growing and growing and growing, and it starts to get closer to that peak. Are people going to hold on? Or are you going to sell? What's going to happen? So it's kind of like that, People are going to see how much money they can get before people are like, well, we can't do that. So you start lowering your prices again, and everything evens back out.
Well, yeah, it will, and that's fine, and I get that. The biggest thing right now, and my suggestion to any, if you're a broker or you're in the industry, my biggest suggestion right now is to take care of the people that have taken care of you. By that, I mean if you're a broker, take care of your shippers, take care of the people that give you freight. Freight is king. Freight is the most important aspect to this industry. Yes, profit's good. Yes, margins are great. Yes, commissions are awesome, right? You make a lot of money. But you can't have those three unless you have the revenue, the sales, which is the freight. You can't have any of it without the freight, right?
Yeah.
And the freight's going to be there. The Americans are going to produce things, they're going to import things, they're going to buy things. And the more that people want to stay at home, logistics is going to continue to explode, which means we need we need more truck drivers. And this whole fantasy about us having self-driving trucks, if you truly think that's going to happen in the next, I think California is like planning on it happening in 10 years.
Well, it has been funny because people are predicting because it's been 2 weeks of the trucker convoy. They're like, within the next 2 weeks, the media is going to be like, oh, smart driving trucks are becoming a thing, and like start pushing that narrative of like, this is going to happen. You guys maybe want to think about why you're doing this convoy now. And it is interesting. I don't know that I would want to live in a world where every truck is self-driving, because let's be honest here, self-driving cars already have their issues. Let's not skip cars that can only do so much damage to literal trucks causing an 18-car pileup. Like, come on.
Okay. The average weight of a car is 3,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Not including a truck is going to push towards 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
A 53-foot dry van can legally haul in the trailer up to 45,000 pounds, not including the rig, the vehicle. You want to trust an 80,000 pound robot? You've lost your mind. That's a missile.
Yeah, no thanks. I don't want something. I would much prefer a human being being able to make a decision split second,
sure,
than an AI doing it.
Okay, regardless, I'm all about the aspects of self-driving to vehicles. Like, say you're on the interstate, say you've driven out of your driveway, you've gotten on the main road. It's a thing that Google Maps actually understands. It's been satellite images, it gets it.
Yeah.
You're in a safe lane. You hit this I'm going to drive myself deal.
Up to 2 lanes, fine.
Yeah. It takes off driving. It's weaving in and out. It's understanding things. You may even get to a point where you think you can take a nap. Hey, ding ding, you're about to get off an exit. Please wake up and continue driving because you're about to get on some roads that we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Right. So now I get that. That's cool. I still don't trust it. Like, what happens if a black cat runs out in the middle of the road? Or a deer comes out in the middle of the road? Like, does it know that? I don't think so. What if an old lady's coming out in the middle of the road? Does it know, should I hit the old lady, or is that just a trash bag?
It's a trolley problem, and that's never good.
Is that a trash bag or an old lady? Like, I don't know. Whoop, I guess it was an old lady. Like, those type things that you can't take out the human element. But there's a more important aspect to truck driving that people don't think about. Not every warehouse is just an easy, I'm going to just pull this thing in and bump this dock. Sometimes it's like, I don't know, your truck barely fits in the gate. There's one dock. You have to weasel it back there. And then guess what? Some truck drivers have to actually get out and help unload things. Okay, it's called driver assist. It's a big aspect to our deal. Or it might be a flatbed driver who has to have straps to strap the things in, or chains, or know how to actually secure stuff, right? So even when we go, and we will, there will be a time, I'm not ignorant.
Yeah.
There will be a time that there is self-driving vehicles, right? That's fine. Each one of those vehicles will not have a driver. It will have what will then be called
a mechanic,
an operator.
An operator, yep.
You will have an operator to these vehicles, which, probably going to be a lower tier job or whatever. And you'll go out and you'll fix your stuff up, and, they'll be the ones that actually back into the thing. Yep. Like, they'll do the final mile. They'll get off on the bad roads. Then you get interstate and you can sleep. You
Yeah.
can, and then you get off the interstate, whatever that is. That's fine. That's cool. But that's no different than a truck driver.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an operator. It's still the same amount of hours, same amount of. It's
Same
even,
distance.
It's still the same thing. So I get that. I think that they say that like most warehouses will end up going robotic. There's robots that can do it. Sure, that's fine. At car places, a lot of places have replaced the inventory line, the assembly line with robots. Sure, but guess what? Each one of those warehouses has a manager who has people that work on the robots. Yeah, you don't have robots working on robots.
Nope.
Right? I mean,
well, you better not.
Yeah. So
we've seen too many movies where that happens, and that's not good.
So I mean, we're so far away from that for people to even be talking about it right now. I think it's kind of comical, because I don't think it's our lifetime.
No,
I think that it's coming.
It might be Marcus's.
Yeah, maybe.
It's definitely not anytime soon.
So what will happen? Just remember this. And you guys, this is me predicting the future, but what will happen before that happens will be some type of aerial vehicle that is drone-like that will just land. And this is already in certain places, but that will replace like just, Amazon and stuff. It'll just land on your driveway or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I could even see a drone-like thing that can haul much more weight, like the size of a container or something like that, that will then, instead of like the rail or instead of trucks, now you're just adding that additional layer, and it's not a plane, doesn't need like that much space, but you need to go Chattanooga to Atlanta. All right, let me get my drone and fly my drone over here.
Yeah.
Boom. That will happen before trucks will. And that'll be a lot more cost effective.
Oh, yeah.
But that's going to be so much science, so much innovation, so much technology, so much AI.
From where we are now.
That's still decades, I think, away.
Even how quickly science is and innovation is happening now, that's like so many leagues ahead of what we have now that it's going to take longer than you think. Because
it's not just building. You got to have.
You have to have the infrastructure for it.
You have to have the NASA-like people, the SpaceX people to build that, first of all. Then you have to have people to teach people how to build that. And then you have to have people to teach people how to run what they've built. Then you have to, it's so far away, so far removed. I mean, we landed on the moon when? In the 60s?
Yeah.
I mean, come on now, man. Give us a little bit of time. Let's just stick to 4 wheels and, getting down the road, or 18 wheels.
Whatever it may be.
Down the road. But the biggest thing that we've got to work on right now is just getting back to normal. And by normal, I just mean, hey, do what you want to. You want to get a vaccine, get a vaccine. You don't want to get a vaccine, don't get a vaccine. You're sick, stay home. You're, whatever. You got to, just let people make those decisions for themselves. If you got to go to Canada to drive a truck, just get a card and go to Canada, drive a truck, come back, just keep doing the things we were doing. But we got to keep the economy rolling, the supply chain rolling. That's the most important aspect to this.
Yeah, because we can't get anything else unless we get back to where we were.
We do. We've got
the brakes have been pumped.
Yeah,
for an entire 2, almost 3 years.
Yeah,
coming up. That we just need to get stuff back.
It's a massive collision, no pun intended, of stimulus checks being thrown out, unemployment being thrown out, like people living off this, people coming to remote jobs, not wanting to work, not wanting to go places, not being able to do things, half the country divided. You can't find middle ground. It's either I do this, you do that, we hate each other. And then the supply chain crashed, conflicts with China, conflicts with Russia. That's where the stuff gets imported from. Now we're saying they can't come over here.
Yeah.
It's just a massive cluster.
I think we're in a massive cluster, and it's literally having to untangle Christmas lights at this point. We got to do it very carefully. We got to do it correctly, but we've got to do it.
Yeah, and then you get them all on the tree, and half of them don't work.
But I think that's a very apt comparison, though. Is we've figured out what's not going to work. I think a lot of people have realized, wow, I can spend the same amount of money and have more efficient workers if they work from home. I can do this, and this that I just wasn't able to do prior to COVID, but I was forced to do for COVID, that now we've learned all of these new things and people are happier. Hopefully, people are able to do what they want in their lives a lot easier because they're working from home, or their jobs are facilitating things better. Yeah. And I think that's the silver lining of all of this bullshit that we've gone through, is truckers realize that we were talking about the truckers, but people in general have realized, oh wow, our lives were a certain way because that's just how it was done, 20, 30 years ago. But things can change. Things can evolve. Sure. That's not a bad thing. Sure. No. Whether or not that's, gonna suck for the people that are having to, foot the bill. But, I think, like we've said, I think everything kind of evens out eventually. We just gotta make it there.
Yeah, man.
Before things get too crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting to see where it all goes from here. And I'll remind me to keep us updated on that, because month over month for now, 12 consecutive months, freight rates have went up on a national average. Mind-boggling. I think it was at 250 or 245 in January last year, and now it's at, I think, 315 or 318 in January now.
Yeah,
it was like 298 or 305 in December. Doesn't even make sense that it went up in January. And not to mention, now for some reason we have an ice storm every February that stretches from damn near Canada to San Antonio.
And it's just moving.
and the same thing happened last February. It shut down our business for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because in the power grid about went out in Texas because they didn't even know weather happened like that. So literally it's happening again. And how are you not prepared, Texas?
You had a year.
Yeah. You just went through the worst winter of your life. And you're like, oh yeah, it gets cold in here too. We should probably do something about that. Maybe we'll do this. You didn't do anything. You had 365 days and you decided to do nothing.
Yeah, that's ridiculous to me. And I think that's where people need to wake up, and people need to start paying attention.
Yeah.
People are going to start paying attention to a lot of things that they weren't before.
Well, here's a good example. Guess what? Okay, listen, I'm not a big, it's not climate change. Yet, yes, there's climate change.
I mean, the world is not the same as it was 30 years ago.
It's going to continue to change, right? But it's slowly done this over the course of my life, right? Okay, so when I was a kid, what was Tornado Alley? What was it? Oklahoma,
fucking Iowa?
Kansas, Iowa, that whole area, right?
Where I used to live.
Okay, now guess where it is?
Here.
Nashville, like Alabama, Georgia.
It's moved east.
Florida.
Maybe it's not even moved east. I think it's just broadened.
No,
there's just more area for tornadoes to actually be able to touch down.
Yeah, it's just okay. Now, what happens in February? In February, it's the coldest month of the year. It's February. How can we not figure this out? It's not rocket science. We're having tornadoes in December. Can people not understand? It's happened for the past 3 years.
Yeah.
November is not cold.
It's not.
It's not cold. And now, I don't know where, this is Chattanooga, okay? October is hot. Halloween is no longer a thing. All right. When you watch movies of Michael Myers and you see Halloween of people cold walking around getting candy, your candy will melt on Halloween. All right. November's not cold. Thanksgiving is not cold. You want to snow on Christmas?
Good luck.
It's going to be 75 degrees and sunny on Christmas. All right, bro?
Again, this is just Chattanooga, to be fair.
You're liable to get a thunderstorm in Christmas, okay? You know what happened on Christmas? Tornado warnings happened on Christmas.
That was crazy.
New Year's. Tornado warnings on New Year's. All right?
And now we're in February, and it was,
guess when it
30
snows?
Degrees yesterday?
Yeah, and guess what? Your season change is not going to be over the span, it's not going to go fall into winter. It's not going to go October, the leaves are going to change, and then it's slowly going to get cold, and then November. No. It's going to be Thanksgiving, and then snowstorm on January 2nd. Like you got to understand that those things are changing, and it's happened for the past 3 years. So I don't understand how people have not figured out that whatever area you're in. So, for example, the entire middle of the fucking country, all right, from literally Texas to Canada. So through New York, so you go northeast to San Antonio.
This is a northeastern diagonal.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
From Canada, northeast, blah, blah, blah. Maine to fucking San Antonio and Mexico. All right. Ice. 3 years in a row. Frozen tundra.
Ice.
I don't understand how people can't prepare for that.
It is fascinating.
So here's my advice. Prepare for 2 weeks of a shutdown in February if you live in the middle of the country. And by middle of the country, I mean the middle of fucking North America. Okay? All the way across of it. That it's going to fix the power grid. Fix the shit.
To be fair, I think it's even funnier because people up north are used to that.
Yeah.
But people anywhere south of Oklahoma
sure
have no idea.
Yeah. Even we're to a certain extent used to it just because of like February, March.
Yeah.
You know, we're kind of used to it. You think driving's bad in Chattanooga when it snows? Try San Antonio, bro.
They just don't even know.
I mean, and I'm being funny, but I'm being serious. Like I don't understand how you can't prepare for something like history is going to repeat itself. I don't understand how we're not preparing ourselves for it. Just like us as freight brokers, here's my plan. I think the market will never change until it changes. And then I will figure out a way to change. But I'm going to keep going off history. I'm not going to pretend it's going to go down. I'm just going to keep riding it until it starts to level out. Then I'll assume it's going to go back down. But guys, come on now. Like February is going to be cold for the entire North America. All right. At some point or another, whether you're in Miami or Ottawa, all right, San Antonio or Fife, Washington, it's going to be cold. Okay. So February is the worst month of the year. It's my birthday. Send me a present because everything else sucks about February. I guess a couple things I talked about. Let's get away from my
let's
rant.
Yeah. Take a breath.
That's definitely not kid related. So my birthday is February 16th, right?
Yep.
Turned the big I turned 31.
I was about to say
I don't know if I turned 32 or 31. So I turned 31 February. So on March 5th, the UFC is in Vegas. And I've told Tia, there's a couple people that I'd like to see fight.
Yeah.
Before they're done.
Yeah.
One is Conor McGregor.
Of course.
All right. Conor McGregor would be awesome. I definitely want to watch Conor McGregor fight. One is if one match ever happened. Like two guys, I'd love to watch them fight, but I don't want to watch them fight just anybody.
You want to fight? I
want them to fight each other.
Yeah.
And if that happens, whichever one happens first, the next Conor fight or this fight, I don't care. I don't care where it is. I want to be there.
Okay.
I didn't know. I figured it would be Conor in summer, and we'd probably go or whatever, and that'd be cool. I didn't expect the second one to be like actually happen.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like it was like a fantasy matchup for me.
Okay.
It was one of those things where it's like pro wrestling couldn't write the story any better. Right? So Jorge Masvidal, Street Judas, is fighting his former best friend, Colby Chaos Covington, Mr. USA, Mr. Trump, in Vegas on March 5th. Neither one of them have a title, and it's the main event for a pay-per-view. That's how perfect this matchup is. And Tia got me tickets.
Awesome.
So my first trip to Vegas, my 31st birthday. We're celebrating in March.
Question: How much are plane tickets?
We hadn't even got tickets yet.
Oh, okay.
But so I went to Miami. So my plane tickets down there. Now all of that was, expensed. But
yeah.
I mean, first class to Miami was $420. You know,
And as you said, you're never not doing first class.
well, I mean, I guess if she's getting these tickets, I'm not expecting first class to go to Miami. But I mean, I'd say Miami plane tickets are what, $800?
Yeah,
something like that, maybe.
So you said it was March 5th?
Yeah, so it's March 5th. It's UFC 272, I think.
Okay.
Jorge Masvidal, Colby Covington in Vegas. You see what those plane tickets run me.
Yeah, I'm checking them now.
So, and I have to wrestle that Friday. So we're just leaving out either that Friday night after the show from Atlanta. So that's where you want to look at. Look at outbound Atlanta.
Okay.
Or we're flying out Saturday morning and just going to spend the day, do the night, and then fly back Sunday morning or Monday. And she might even fly into Nashville because she got work. But anyway, so yeah, dude, I'm so jacked up for that. And it's not like we have bad seats. We're probably, so you got floor seats. I don't think floor seats are the best seats for the UFC, even though I'm gonna test that theory at the end of March. That was also expensed. But our seats are, probably 10, 15 rows up. That first section in the risers are off the floor, right there in the stairs. So, we're gonna be right there in the perfect 50-yard line seats for that fight. I'm so jacked up for it, dude. Never been to Vegas.
So are you asking for first class? Because this is a very large jump.
I'm not asking first class.
Okay, economy, $200.
What's first class?
Over 1,000.
Yeah, we'll fly economy.
Yeah,
But is economy? What's that? Delta?
It would be Spirit. So let's look for Delta.
We ain't gonna fly Spirit. I mean, I don't care to fly Spirit, but that's a 6-hour flight.
Delta is the first class, and it's over 1,000.
What's over 1,000?
The Delta flight.
I know, but I'm saying, like, what's the
1,400.
And that's round trip?
Yes.
Okay. So what's economy or main cabin?
Economy would be 193.
Delta?
For Delta, it's 500.
That's what I was thinking. About $500. Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming that's probably what we'll do.
Yeah.
But so with her though, man, being a veteran, so like for some reason she has these options to
upgrade
when we get there. But it being a Vegas trip, outbound Atlanta on the weekend of a fight, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they know what's happening.
Yeah, they know. You'd have had to buy these tickets before the show was announced.
Oh yeah.
Because just flying to Columbus the weekend of UFC, it's not even a pay-per-view. It's damn near $400. So we'll just drive up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So
sounds exciting.
I'm fired up for that. I mean, first trip to Vegas, first trip to UFC in Vegas, and I get to see 2 of my 3 favorite fighters fight. I am
that is almost like it was planned.
Dude.
Somebody's listening.
Yeah. And what's crazy is I told my customer, he's up in Columbus, and before COVID happened, I said, dude, I want to get you, I want to take you somewhere, like on the company, because we do so well with you. The first UFC live event that comes to Columbus after the pandemic, I'm taking you. Dude, it's like, I'm not kidding. Columbus is one of the first live events outside of the Apex that's that's not a pay-per-view event on the schedule. And I was like, dude, no brainer. So we got 4 seats, 8 rows from the cage on the floor in Columbus to watch it's a fight night. It's super awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to a pay-per-view in Atlanta and I've been to a fight night in Raleigh. It's both people punching each other in the face and you can hear leather. It's awesome, dude. Like the leather you hear doesn't come through the TV.
Yeah.
It's completely different in person.
Of course.
Best sporting event I've ever been to, both ones. I can't wait to do that. But yeah, man, that's what I've got going on.
Yeah. I mean, I've got to plan how I'm going to beat that because my mother's 50th is this week.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal. And she's actually, so we just went to Disney, right?
Yeah.
In October.
Yeah.
And that was like, she said when she was there, she was like, let's celebrate a little bit. I'm going to be 50 this year. We were with my grandmother too. And like all of this and that. So we celebrated a little bit. But my mom got this itch because she realized something. Disneyland is cool, But guess what year it is for Disney World in Florida?
100 years.
50 years.
I'm an idiot.
Well, no, but 50 years of magic for Disney World. My
On
mom's
her
like,
50th birthday.
on her 50th birthday.
Let's go.
So my mom has decided that her and my little sister and my stepsister, who has a way better schedule and can pay for it as well, they're all three going down to Disney World
When is
just for the
this?
weekend.
When?
Literally next weekend. So it was one of those things where like I can't really do anything for her because she's not gonna even be here. But I don't know. I just thought that was really fun.
Yeah.
It's good to do stuff like that, especially after the past 2 years.
Sure.
Splurge a little bit for your birthday.
How much
Come on,
is like
guys.
a Disney World trip, roughly?
For the 5 of us when we went,
Yeah.
it was near close to, I would almost say, 10 grand. My mom racked up some credit. Let's just say that.
No, I mean I bet.
But that's also one of those things where like Disneyland, Disney World, Disney in general is her getaway.
No, that's
like
awesome.
she can go there. She has the cards. She has the magic passes. She's a Disney mom. Having my little sister fully gave her that option.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's one of those things where, I mean, you spend a lot of money, but again, it's her 50th birthday. Let her splurge.
Well, listen, man, I've said this. Anytime you spend money is an investment. Whether you spend it on food, it's an investment in your nutrition, in your energy, in your gas tank, in your life, in your body, in your temple. You spend it on clothes. It's an investment of your confidence, how you look, how you act, how you dress, blah, blah, blah. You spend it on stuff. It's an investment in your fun, your hobby, your entertainment, your confidence, your personality, blah, 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 your attitude.
Your happiness.
You spend it on school. You're spending it on your education, your learning, your ability to take skills and use them to make more money. It's all investments, right? You spend it on gyms. It's for your body, blah, 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 blah. Dude, you spend it on events with people that you love. Now you're creating investments in memories, things that you can talk about forever. And that's something that I never really wanted to spend money on as a kid or even as a young adult. But ever since I met, Tia and Marcus, it's like I just want to make every memory that I can with them so that we can talk about it later, and so that his childhood is awesome, and so that her time on Earth is awesome. So I have no problem spending money on memories, which a lot of people think is stupid. And I get that. I truly do. Listen, money's hard to make, money's hard to get, and it's easy to spend. It's easy to get in trouble, stuff like that, And I've said this many times on the show. I'm not good with money. A lot better now than I was, but I like to spend it. And when you get away from spending it on materials and you spend it on memories, it's just more enjoyable. And a lot of times you say, "Well, what do you get with it? Look, how do you not getting anything in return?" Yeah, you are.
Oh yeah,
you're getting memories. Trust me.
You guys went to Colorado the other year. I mean, that's memories for days,
dude. I feel like I just left the snow.
Exactly.
I can see the trees. And there's things that you see on TV that you think would be really cool, but then you get there and you see it and you feel it and you touch it and you can feel it, and you're like, is this even Earth?
This is real?
Yeah. Yeah. Is this, I live here?
I share the air with this?
It's a whole different world,
100%.
Man. Like people say we gotta get into a rocket and blast off into space to go to Pluto. It's like, no, bro, go to Bozeman, Montana. I promise you. If you've never been to the West, go to Bozeman, Montana, completely different world.
Oh, yeah.
People talk different, act different. They are different. Everything's different. Houses are different. Geography's different. Now go to Miami. Just came back from there. Completely different world. Promise you.
Yeah.
It's a different world. Now, like, the difference in Chattanooga and Charlotte, North Carolina, not much difference.
No.
Chattanooga and Nashville, not much difference. Chattanooga, New York, big difference. Chattanooga, Chicago, big difference. Chattanooga in the outskirts of Chicago, not a big deal. Chattanooga in the outskirts of New York, not a big deal. You know, it's like you just don't know until you know.
Exactly.
And I just want to know as much. I used to think people were stupid that would be like, I want to travel the world. Dude, those people, I bet, have such a different perspective on life.
100%. And that's one of those things where, like, 2021 was the year for me to take vacations. One wasn't really a vacation, but I went back to Iowa. I got to go back to my roots for about 4 days. Was nice.
Yeah.
Took off from work.
Found a sister.
Yeah, well, that was later in the year.
Okay.
Went to Destin with a bunch of friends. That was my first adult non-family vacation.
That's cool.
And that was really nice. And again, just like you were saying, I went paragliding. I never thought I would go paragliding. Why would I want to go up the air like that?
Right.
Strapped to a piece of cloth that's carrying me.
Sure.
And I did it. And it was really, really fun. And just like you remembering the snow, I can remember being up in the air, just being able to see the ocean, seeing everything around me.
Yeah.
And like just being at the beach again, you know, blah, 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 blah. Then going to LA and being at the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
An entirely different ocean that I've never seen before.
I've never seen it either, man.
And it's just, again, it's one of those things where you're in a different place. You're around totally different people.
Yeah.
We did not spend a lot of time in LA, but just being around other people, being in a different place was a totally different experience.
Yeah.
And although we stayed at Disney and we didn't really leave Disney after we got there, again, I was able to experience Star Wars land with my stepdad and my little sister who both love Star Wars.
Yeah.
And it's just an experience. And I'd much rather do that than spend that same amount of money on clothes or a watch or something that's going to someday not work.
Dude, everything that you buy, it's the excitement of buying it is
more
satisfying than in getting it.
Yeah.
You know, like, but it is what it is, man. That's our economy. That's
consumerism.
Yeah, that's how this thing works. That's how America was built. That's capitalism at its finest. Yeah, man. So, bunch of cool things. Man, we covered a lot. That's 2 hours.
That was almost 2 hours.
Almost 2 hours. We've got plenty to put out this year. Got a lot of things that we've put a lot of irons in the fire. We've put a lot of things into action. We've said a bunch, so now we just got to actually do it.
Yeah, we got to do it this year.
So I think we're on the right track, no doubt. And what I was about to say when you were mentioning year vacations, we're doing a trip this year.
Okay.
We're either going to go to we'll do Disney or we'll do Universal or.
Oh God, I would love to go back to Universal again.
We'll do because I know that when the spring gets here, Tia's gonna start asking, "Hey, when you let's do something."
Well, that's the thing. Sting and the gang that I went with to Destin are like, so what are we doing this year?
Yeah, right. So we'll plan something up. We'll do because we did Universal, we did Legoland, we've done Six Flags.
Yeah,
you know, we haven't done Dollywood and we haven't done Disney.
Oh, Dollywood is such a good
and
it's nice.
And my nephew loves it. My nephew's my big little nephew. You know, he's he'll be going into freshman year next year as far as football season goes. So I mean, this summer he'll probably be ready to do something like that. He loves doing the Dollywoods, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Disney's probably the spot this year.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
So hold me to that because when Tia asked me, I'm like, let's go.
I don't know where you want to go.
Yeah. So I think, and if we do that, you definitely need to come with us for sure. That'd be fun.
Oh yeah.
And we'll document the whole thing.
I was about to say we do Chat with Gunner,
dude. Yeah.
Around the world at Epcot. Come on,
yeah,
bro.
man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we like card shows that.
It's gonna be a good year.
Yeah, man. We got to start tagging you along on things. 1 for content, 2 for experiences and memories.
Absolutely.
And 3, Because we can. I can now. Right? So might as
Well,
well.
all things considered, hopefully I
Yeah.
can do it myself.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean, you shouldn't have to. So you're the, cheapest, best producer in the world right here, man. So I got to take care of you sometimes. I try to when I can, but
All right, let's
I wish
get
I
out of
did
here,
more.
man.
All right. So let's head over to Chat with Gunner YouTube page. Like it. Go over to the personal page. Like it. Sooner or later, People's Card Collector. Like that. Spotify, leave a review if you can. Apple, iTunes, leave a review if you can. Wherever you can leave a review, please do that if you can. We'll be pushing out more content soon. Hopefully you enjoy some of it. Give us some suggestions of some things that we should be doing if you don't like what we are doing. Tell a friend about us. Tell 10 friends about us. We appreciate you guys. So we will see you next time. All right? Bye.